In this second activity, we are going to be using data that I downloaded from the website of the World Bank, cleaned it, and posted it on Layer. So we will focus on CO2 emissions and two types of particulate matter 2.2 air pollutants. Those are the things we will be doing in this particular thing. Now, what do we mean by each of those things? So CO2 emissions, this tells us how much carbon dioxide each person in a country emits on average. So high CO2 emissions contribute to global warming and climate change. Now, the second indicator is the PM 2.5 air pollution. We are looking at the mean annual exposure. Why is that important? It's simply because it's a type of air pollution that can harm human health when inhaled. So when you take in high levels, you may end up having respiratory problems. And the last one, the third one, we are looking at the population exposed to levels exceeding World Health Organization guidelines. So this data set is for the G7 countries. So for the last indicator, it simply shows the percentage of population exposed to high levels of PM 2.5 pollution, which can have adverse health effects. So they are going against the guidelines of the World Health Organization. So what you have to do is to generate the charts for each of them, explain what you see, explain why it is the way it is. Is it going up? Is it going down? All the international conferences which are going on, are they having an impact on it? Are the quantities diminishing? And of course, you have to discuss what's the implication. It says it's discussion of the environmental implications of the data, focusing on CO2 emissions, air pollution. This one is not there. I think that's all you have for this. Okay, awesome. So right now your data has been posted on Layer. I'm going to go and get the same data set you will download from Layer, and it's an Excel data set, so if you double click, it opens it with no problems. So we will start with the first one, which is CO2. I will get rid of this one. I will not be posting this particular data set, or even if you have it, I guess you have it already. Do not use precipitation, use these ones. So we'll start with this. Just click inside, go to insert, go to pivot table, and then you take from table, take OK. And once you come here, CO2 emissions, you put it where you have values, click on it, value field settings. We want the average, number format. We want to change it to number. Make sure you have 2 decimal places. OK. OK. Now take country, put it where you have columns. Take here, put it where you have rows. And then get rid of the quarter, month, and the first year, and that is it. So the final step is to increase your pivot chart. Take line, OK. Increase the size so that you can observe what has been happening across time. Now, we also want to include we want to make it interactive. So you'll go to Pivot Chart Analyze, you'll click on Slicer, take country, OK, and then you can place it here so that you can study the changes by countries. For example, if you want to observe what's happening, the countries with the highest CO2 or the lowest, for example, Canada and USA. If you click on Canada and then you hold your control key, you click on the United States and release, you can see what's happening between the two. The interesting question is, why are we having such a situation? So I'll click here to clear that. Now we have data, or the World Bank only has data for this period of time. We'll increase it, we'll add a timeline, click on the chart to make it active, go to Pivot Chart Analyze, click on Insert Timeline, activate here, OK, bring it down, increase the size depending on the size of your screen, click on Month on this drop down arrow, take here, and there we go. So you can, for example, click here and then drag it here to see what happened since the Paris conference. Is it going down? Is it stable? What's going on? You can click here to clean everything. and then you can play around with it. Okay, that's it for CO2. Make a copy, put it on a Word document, and discuss. Let's do the next one. The next one is the mean exposure. Click anywhere inside, insert, drop down arrow of the pivot table from table range. Okay, drag the mean exposure, click on it. We want to change it to average, so I'll click on value field, take average, number format, number, okay, okay, and then I'll take country, put it where we have columns, take year, put it where we have rows, uncheck quarter, uncheck month, uncheck year, and then go to pivot table analyze, pivot chart, take the line, okay, increase the size. Then you have the ability to study what's going on. If you care, you can just go and you increase a slicer, take country, okay, and there you have your slicer so that you can play around with it. It's really up to you, depending on the analysis you want to do. You can also make the chart active, pivot chart analyze, insert timeline, click on year, okay, in order to be able to insert a timeline. Click the drop down arrow around month, take year, and there you go. So we'll now do the last one, which is the population exposed. Click anywhere inside, insert, pivot table from table range, okay. Take population exposed, put it where you have values, click on sum, value field setting, average, number format, number, okay, okay. Take country, put it where you have columns, take year, put it where you have rows, uncheck quarters, month, and the first year. Go to pivot table analyze, pivot chart, take line, okay, increase the size of your chart, and do the same. Go to pivot chart analyze, click on slicer, take country, okay, and then place it there. And finally, click on the chart, go to pivot chart analyze, click on timeline, click on year, okay, pull it down, increase the size, and finally click on the drop down arrow, click on year, and there you go. You can play with it as you want. The important thing is ask yourself for each of the chart, what are you seeing? Why are you seeing the changes you're seeing? For example, if you click on Canada, you can see that around this period, this particular pollutant went down to basically 0. That is what you are seeing. Now, why are you seeing that? What caused it? Why? What's the relevance of that? So those are interesting questions you should ask yourself. Why is it going down for USA and Canada, and for the other ones, it's relatively stable and still high? Why is it so high for Italy compared to the other countries? So basically, with the data we've just done, you can present the theory charts, you can give an explanation based on the watts, and then you can discuss the environmental implication of whatever you've seen. Okay, I think that's it. Have fun doing this, and I'll see you next class.